Hi, and welcome back to another live stream, and also welcome back to the channel. As you see today, we are going to tackle this little synth, the smallest synth that I have here in my studio. But before I'm going to do that, I'm going to welcome Skalu74. Welcome to the chat, and also welcome to the channel. Also, Musical Dream 83, welcome, and also that's all I think. Those two came by, and the rest is also free to leave a comment in the chat. If you want to say hello, just say it. And also, if you have a question, just leave it in the chat. I will glad to be helpful, of course, if I can, and I will try to answer that. So, first for Skalu, you consider one of those two synths, the D Mini or the Model D. To be honest, those are not exactly the same synth. The big difference is that the Model D has 3 oscillators, and this one also, but this one is 3 voices instead of 3 oscillators for the 3 voices, but you cannot separately change those oscillators. Instead of when you're changing one waveform on one of those oscillators, the 3 also will be changed. So that's maybe a point to consider. Oh, something with my cable here. That's maybe a point to consider, but also very important is the reason why I don't have the Model D in my studio anymore is because it was not a stable synth in tuning. It took a long time. It took some quite of time before it will stable the tuning. So you tuned it, and then after 20 minutes, then it became stable. But then even then, so it was not so stable in the tuning. That was the only issue on the Model D. If that's not a problem for you, then maybe the Model D will be an interesting synth for you. But to be honest, I did a video on this little synth when I revealed it, when it was just came in. So that was for me quite a surprise. There are some issues, but I'm going to talk about that when I'm going to do the overview. But the sound is fantastic of this one. So if for the stable, this one is stable from the beginning. The Model D not. Sound-wise, they are almost exactly the same. But I prefer, I think, in my opinion, this one here instead of the Model D. But that's, if I want to have a Model D, I'm going to buy me the Mini Moog. That's the only synth I want to have for the free. But this one, to be honest, that's quite a surprise about the sound. But it's not a Model D, so we're going to talk about it through my overview. That's the synth that you can see here in the picture, and live also. We are going through that synth also. So stay stuck with me here in this live stream till the end, and I hope it will be interesting, and also maybe that can change your mind about some of those synths. For me, that's my smallest synth that I have here in my studio, and also my last new. Musical Dreams has... that's a great option. For that, it's I think better than a Model D, because this one is a pocket-sized synth. You can put it in your pocket. Yeah, that's indeed. It's of course the same model as the Korg Vulcan synths. There are also pocket mode. So, but it's not the same. So I will remind you, it's not the Model D. It's not a mini version of the Model D, certainly not. And we are going to talk about that directly when I do the overview, because it's not the same. And it has maybe more than the Model D. So I think for traveling, this one is, you can use it as one oscillator, but it's not the Model D. So please don't think it's a Model D. They call it the D Mini. It has the same oscillator and sound, but the building of this synth is not the same. And also they call it a polyphonic synth, but it's not a polyphonic, it's a paraphonic synth. All those minis that Behringer brought out are paraphonic but not polyphonic. And I said it before also, paraphonic, that means you have one filter and also one envelope generator for all your voices. So if you press 3 notes at the same time, they go always through the same filter and the same envelope generator. Instead of the polyphonic synths, when you press 1, it has its own envelope generator and its own filter, and each voice has its own envelope generator and its own filter. The nice thing that you can see it when you open a Juno 106, yes. The things that went wrong on those synth were the voices, and the 6 voices. That means each oscillator has its own filter, its own envelope generator. That's the big difference between the polyphonic and the monophonic, the paraphonic synths. So those synths, certainly this one is also paraphonic but not monophonic. So that's also maybe a point to consider. Do I want to buy it? Yes or no? Only because of that. Size is a point. I don't have room here in my studio, and this one is perfectly. I don't have a Behringer here in my studio. Before I had 3, but now I don't have one. So I bought this one. Again a Behringer in my studio, and I'm very glad about the synth. So for all those who came also and listening and watching the live stream, welcome, of course. And also, don't hesitate, just leave a question in the chat, and I will glad to answer that and help you, of course. Maybe it will take a little bit long because I'm on the other side of the studio, so the mic is with me there, so I must always go from the keyboard to the synth. So first of all, that's the synth what you see here. You have all those settings. Here it's bigger than on the screen. So what do you have here? You have here your mode of polyphonics. So I'm gonna talk about that there. Then you have here your range of the 3 oscillators. So when you're changing those 2 knobs, you change always the 3 oscillators. You change, in this case, I'm gonna talk about that. So those are the things that you have. You have also your waveforms here for your oscillators. You have also here waveforms for your LFO on the here in the keyboard. Then you have also the LFO. This here you can choose between oscillator modulation on or off for your LFO. So you're gonna change the pitch. We have your button here. The bigger one is your filter, of course. Your cutoff, your resonance, or emphasis, they call it here, like the Moog, that also the amount that you want to send it to your envelope generator here. And then you can change, of course, your control, the decay. You can change decay or release, that depends. So that's the same thing as on a model. Well, I'm going to talk about that there on the synth itself. But that's a picture of the synth. It's very small. This is a LED also. It lights always up when it's in sync mode or in MIDI mode and all. So those also is interesting. It has a power button here that's on and off. Very interesting, and also nice to have that. A USB-C, and of course the MIDI DIN 5-pin also here. Then you have a sync out and in when you want to sync that with another device. Also, I'm going to show that here in this live stream. So stay with me and till the end. So it can be, and it will be, I think, interesting, because I have some things to say that maybe can depend if you want to buy it, yes or no. So also, before I'm going to there, what we have also here is very important. When you buy the synth, the first thing that you must do is download the synth tribe. But that's why I'm not going there. That's very important. That's the first step that you must do. Buy the synth tribe and look here. And when you download the synth tribe from the Behringer website, then you have the first version, but that's not the 3.2.7. So beware, if you download the synth tribe on the website of Behringer, it will be I think one of the first versions of that synth tribe, and of first, it's one of the versions, but not the latest. So the first thing that you must do, download that synth tribe. Download, you can not download, you can put it on your. So you download it and then just put it on your. How do you call it? On your screen here, like I said, here it is with me. It's here. So you set it on your screen here, because when you download it, it's in your downloads. It's not a software program. It's a sort of an app. So that app, just I'm gonna show you that. If I go to my downloads here, then you will see this one, where it is. Virtual setup. That's not this one. Also did download this one, also the Virtual Studio setup, because there was the oldest version. I must reload this one also because it didn't want to work. So there are some issues with that. So be careful, but download then from. I'm gonna do that so you can follow me. First, go to your browser, of course. I'm gonna open a new one here. So what I'm gonna do, go to Behringer. Synth tribe, of course, download. So you go to the website of Behringer. Always go to the website, not to some. That's not the website from Behringer. That's this one. So go to there and then look for Synth tribe. You won't do that, but you can also go escape. Just D Mini, and it will go there. So go to your D Mini. Here it is. Then here, when you're on the D Mini, downloads, and then you're gonna find here Synth tribe 3.2.2. So that's not the latest version. So download this one when you download it for Windows. So for me, it's for Windows. It will download here. So if I open it, that's very important what I'm going to say now, because double click, it's a zip, and what you must do is just take this one and put it on your table here. How do you call it in English? I don't know. We call it. So you put it here. So here it is. This one is the 3.2.2. So now it's on my screen. And the first thing, what you must do when you open that is, it's open here. Go to the download, the latest download. So search for updates, check for updates, click on that. It will check for updates and it will download the latest version. I think they did that. That's the steps that you must do. If I'm wrong, forgive me or correct me if I'm wrong. So normally check for update and it will download then the latest version, and that's 3.2.7. That's the version that you must have. Otherwise, it will not work perfect. So very important to do that. I'm not going to do that, of course. We are going to my settings here. So that's the first step. Buy that synth, download the synth tribe 3.2.7, set it on your desktop, and your desktop, that was it. That was the thing that I was set it on your desktop, and then go to your downloads here, and normally here, this one here, and check for updates where the question mark is. Check for update and download the latest version instead of the but if you have the And what do you mean, Music Dream, with the latest? Which version do you have? Because I have Windows 11, I think. I know it works on both, but I have issues with the first one. With the 3.2.2, there are some issues. So to for those who have the latest version of Windows or on a Mac, I think, always go to the latest version because there are some bugs. Or oh, okay, baby, that maybe as a Music Dream said, if you have an older version of Windows, I think, do you work with Windows? Is it with Windows that you work? Because I'm working with Windows. That's why it didn't work well with. So you can follow it also, of course, here on the. Ah, okay, okay. That's not Windows. So for Windows, please download the latest version, not the 3.2.7. That's the version that works with your synth, not this version, of course. And if you have an OS, I think Musical Dream told me that it will be better than to use the older version instead of the newer version. So thank you for that, for sharing that here in the chat, and for all those who work with the iOS. So it's Mac, of course, that you have. So that's very important. And in this case, you have this settings here. You can do those settings as you see here on your synth itself, but it's much easier to change your settings. And it's important that you're going to change your settings, certainly when you want to sync this synth with your devices or with your DAW. Also, things that I'm going to do, and I'm going to explain where are things that are not okay, but maybe someone knows the issue, but I think it's maybe on the next update it will be solved, of course. I hope so. But it is also very nice to have this synth tribe here, easy to set your synths. What do you have here? You have here your presets, the preset, so you can change. You have all your presets. You can change, save presets here. Pattern 1, import or export a pattern, so you can save and download your presets. Very interesting that you have that. That is one thing that you don't have on the Model D. You cannot save your patches on this synth, and that's maybe also one of those points that you will consider to not buy that Model D. Is if you want to buy it, buy it. I don't care, but that's maybe also a point. In this one, you can download, you can save your settings that you have, and that's maybe easy. So you don't remember your settings, just save them. What you also have, you have your channel. You can choose your channel in and out. In and out is only for in and out is for USB, and out when you're on MIDI is just out, I think. Or can you also go in and out on MIDI? I don't know. Is someone have experience with that with another mini synth of Behringer? Because there exist MIDI cables. Apple, sorry, it's Mac, yes, Macintosh, Mac. I call it Mac because I'm the old school guy. Before we call it Mac, so Apple or Mac, the same thing. Thanks. So in and out, you can do it through USB, but it's only an output for your MIDI. So then you can have here your clock rate, very important. Certainly when you're going to sync that with your DAW or with your devices, like I'm going also to demonstrate. What do you also have here? The sync in rise and sync out rise. I set it on rise because it worked for me like that. Why, I don't know. But MIDI short message, I set it in enable. So what do you also have for performance? In the performance, you have the key priority. That means when you press your key, if you can use your lowest key. So when you press 3 keys, you have a 3 voice synthesizer, when you press a fourth key, then it will prioritize the lowest or the highest, the last one that you press, or the nearest one. That's a little bit like a monophonic synthesizer. Does that also? Okay, but I think the most of the people has now a later version of the Mac. I hope so. In my case, it's an Windows 11 that I have here. What do you also have here on the performance? Pitch band semitone. It goes to 2. Here you can go higher and lower. You can set it up to 12, I think. That's a max, of course. That means 1 octave. 12 is 1 octave higher. 2, leave it in 2. Then modulation wheel. So that's for your modulation wheel, of course. Now it's on 2. I can go higher. But you can choose envelope generator release. Same thing, detune, cutoff. So for your modulation wheel, you can choose between all those options. Everything that you have here, you don't have that on the Model D. And the Model D cost also more than the D. So I think for who asked me which one do you want to buy, it was Scalu, I think it was at Scalu. So think about it, which one do you want to buy? But even then, the Model D is a very nice synth. What do you also have here? So the modulation wheel, you can choose. Now I set it just on the LFO. So you have an LFO modulation when you're using the mod wheel. But I'm not going to use that now. I can connect it on my DX7 and use that as my keyboard for that. But I don't do that now. What do you also have here? So the multi-trigger or re-trigger modes. That depends. That's also. And then your system auto power off. That means I'm going to disable that because otherwise it will turn off when I'm talking here. So I'm going to disable that. Then the tempo range, also very important for your sequencer, this one here. I'm choosing to work with my 56 beat per minute. That's the minimum. So 200 beats per minute, that's the maximum. I don't create songs from less than 56 beats per minute. And also no 200 and plus. I never did that, so why will I do that? I think some of you who you can also go from -10 to 600 beats per minute, but that's a very big range. So this one is more less sensitive. This is much sensitive. And then the pattern call immediately, you can call immediately a pattern, so it changes from one to another next cycle. That means it waits when the cycle is finished, then it goes to the next pattern. That's also for the sequencer, of course. When you change your sequencer pattern, then it will wait till it comes to 1 again, and then it change. The moment that you change, it will change also. That's also an option. So it's quite a lot of things that for such a small synth, you have a lot here. And for such small price also, to be honest. So that is Synthtribe. The first thing that you do before you before you open that synth, download that Synthtribe, open that, connect it to your laptop or your computer. Then, of course, make that you have the latest version when you're working with a Windows PC, with a Mac, Apple, then or iOS. Then as for an older version, use the older version because the newer one doesn't work well, I think. That's what Musical Dreams has said to me. So for that also, thank you for sharing that. Let's go to the synth, of course. That was also the purpose of this live stream. But I think that's important, of course, that you know the things how to do, how to download and set your Synthtribe before you start, of course. What do we have here? The first, maybe I'm just keep them on because it's small. It's not so big. Before was no problem last year. So what do we have? First, gonna start with the on and off switch or button here. I love synths with that. I have here the Mother 32. It doesn't have that. And I feel that it's a shame that it doesn't have that. This one has it, and I'm very glad that they put an on and off button here on this synth. You have an USB-C on this one here. I think it's USB-C. Always correct me if I'm wrong. Then the first knob that you have here is the mode. So you have 3 oscillators, and all those 3 oscillators are going to work together, and you can choose between those 3. Or you can choose between polyphonic, but it's not polyphonic, it's paraphonic. Like I said, it's not a polyphonic synth, a paraphonic synth. So it goes through the same filter and the same envelope generator. Then we have next unison. That means all the 3 oscillators are synced together, going to play in unison. You will get a big sound. That's the second thing. Then the third option, octave, that will mean one of those oscillators will go lower, an octave lower. You can, it's the same thing as a sub oscillator. That's a sub oscillator. That's what it is. Then, of course, you have the synth. That means it plays like a synth and nothing more. Excuse me, the fifth. So the other one was an octave, then the fifth. That means it will not go to the lowest, but it's not an octave lower, but a fifth lower. That's the difference between those two. Then you have the ring modulation and a poly ring. What that does do, I don't know exactly, but the ring modulation, everybody knows that, what it is, but also the poly ring. So that's also an option on this synth. So those are the things that you want to, the settings that you can choose within. When I make a sound, you will hear the difference between all those settings. Then you have your range here from 32 feet to 1 feet. That means a very high pitch. 1 feet is very high, and 32 is the lowest, of course. The feet, that means the length of your wave, and 32 feet, that means that came from the organs in the past. The organs had a length, and the smallest length was, in this case here, is 1 feet length. So you have the high pitch, and then the biggest length of your pipe organ, it has 32 feet. That means that it's at a length of 32 feet. There it comes from those 32 feet. And so those, then what do you also have? The detuning. That depends in which setting that you are here. You can detune the other oscillators. The first one will stay, I think, in tune, and the other will detune. So very nice feature. It works not in all the options, so beware. Of course, then you have all those waveforms on this synth. And which one do you have? You have a triangle, a shark tooth, then you have a sawtooth, then you have the pulse wave of the square wave, then a narrow square wave or more than pulse wave, and then a very small pulse wave. Those are the waveforms, the same identical on the Model D also. What do we also have here? You have here a function button. That means when you press this function button, you can use this keyboard here as your diving to menu. So, for example, I have here, you must press it, and I'm going to turn off the metronome of my sequencer. That's an example. What we also have here is an indicator. Now it's internal. That means it flashes with a rhythm, slow and fast. Nice to have that, and that you can see, because it's internal. Now it's an internal clock that's working. When you sync it and you go to sync, and it will light up only that. So when it's light up and not flashing, that means that you're in sync with something else, and it's not working with the eternal clock. We have also a stereo output with a small jack. We have a sync in, a sync out, and the DIN Mini, MIDI DIN 5-pin connector here. What do we also have here? Of course, a noise generator, and you can choose between pink and white noise. For those who doesn't know, pink and white noise, that depends on where the sound is in the frequency. I don't know. I think pink noise is a flat. How do we call it? When you go to a spectrum analyzer, you will see it goes. I think it's flat, and then with the white noise, it goes more in the lower and less in the high. I don't know exactly, but it has to do with your difference in the frequency where the sound is. So that's, and you will also hear the difference in the sound, pink and white noise. So you can choose between pink and white noise. So that's also a noise generator that you have here. We have, of course, here your choose between the modulation of your filter or not. You can use modulation from your envelope generator, or you can use modulation from your LFO. That's the button that you must change here. Then, of course, your cutoff for your filter, your amplitude or your resonance for your filter, and the amount, how many do I want to send it to my attack or my envelope generator. And if I have here my envelope generator, I can choose between decay or not decay, on or off. That's something that also famous as the same thing here on my Model 32. And then we have here also the LFO. And when you want to change your LFO waveforms, you must do that in your set menus. You have here sawtooth, triangle, square, and random. That means random, sample, and hold. So many things that you have, things that you don't have on a Model D. The same thing again. So depends which do you want to use, but you have other options on the Model D that you don't have here, of course. What do we have also here on this one? Of course, the rate, how fast, and how many, the amount of your LFO. How many do you want to give it? And of course, the rate of your LFO. And you can choose modulation of your oscillator with an LFO, yes or no. And when you're choosing on, that means it will change your pitch with an LFO. Sometimes it can be useful for that. I think I covered everything about the synth. And you have here your memory function. You can also choose between, when I press, those are the memories, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You saw it also on Synth. You can find it also, you can see it also on the screen, of course. What do you also have? So, same thing, when you press function, then it's right. When you have record, you have erase, play, and active. So those also for your sequencer. Then you have also settings here for your sequencer. Be careful because it can change lots. Trigger sync without syncing with the trigger or nothing. All those options are also here, but to be honest, I prefer to do that on Synth. That's much easier than here on this synth. So that's, I think, I covered everything about this synth. How does it sound? The waveforms, I did it on a previous video, so I'm not going to do that today. And also, I'm going to do another video on this synth comparison with the Model 32 and with a plugin. So, and then I will also show you those waveforms on an oscillator so you can see, and also the spectrum analyzer. But today we are not going to do that. We are just going over this synth and let you see how it sounds, how to create a patch, how to connect that with another through sync or to MIDI. That's the thing, and also USB, how to use that on your DAW. Just an example. So let's start with the unison patch. Just sustain on, decay off, attack off. The filter, of course, open, this resonance off. No modulation in the envelope generator. Just so you have one envelope generator. Also, you don't have two, one. So you cannot have an envelope generator for your filter separately and for your amplifier separately. So one envelope generator for the two. What do we have here? Also, the LF4, don't use it now. So let it here. Let's go to the sawtooth. Yes, a sawtooth in the middle here. And I go poly, so I can press each key separately. 32 feet, that's low. Going to 16 feet. So that's the sound of the sawtooth. Second. It's paraphonic, not polyphonic. So that's the sawtooth when you're going to the... It has a nice sound. That's polyphonic. Unison, that means every sound is... when I go to polyphonic... You see, you can change. So you detune, I think you detune the first one and then the other ones stay, I think, same. So you can do that with the polyphony when you are in polyphony. Unison, that means all the... Nice. Now you have that pulse width modulation, because the Model D doesn't have that. Mini Moog doesn't have that. But with this one, with this feature, now we have that pulse width modulation. You hear it. And to be honest, I found it sounds very nice. It's a very nice sounding synth. So you can go very out of, and you hear that beating of that oscillators. Unison, what you have also was the octave. Same thing. But you also have, of course, that fifth. Same thing. Such a small synth with such a big sound. And I didn't even, what you hear is a clean synth. There is no effect on this. When I'm going to create some, just over one of those sequencer here, then you're gonna add some effects on, so you can hear the synth with also with effects on. Higher. Varying modulation. Of course, now it's a monophonic synth because you use also that other oscillators for your ring modulation. Then you have a ring poly, that means now you can play polyphonic. The tuning works only when you're pressing more than one key. If you press one key, it doesn't work because you're using one oscillator. Only when you're in unison, of course, then it uses all those 3 oscillators. But when you're on polyphony and you use like this, I'm going to do that, then it won't do nothing because you're using one oscillator. The moment I'm using 2, then it will work. That's the reason why it didn't work in the beginning, I thought. But it was when you're playing more than one key. That means it will turn on one and the second oscillator or the third oscillator. It depends how many keys that you're pressing, of course. That's the oscillator sound. And of course, you have the filter going into poly mode, so but higher. And it has a very nice low end. Very nice. A bit creamy. A little bit of emphasis or a resonance, of course. Call it emphasis, other one. Halfway now. The 24 dB filter from Moog, ladder filter. Of course, it's a self-oscillating filter. More 3/4. Here it is. You find your can go very low. Can go lower now. And then open, but I changed to 32 feet. Higher. So, very nice sounding filter for this synth. And of course your envelope generator, so you can create a sound. And I'm gonna create a sound here. Then we are turning on that sequencer so we can hear it also play. So that's also for all those who just came in, welcome to the live stream, of course, and also welcome to the chat and to the channel, of course. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but also feel free to leave a comment in the chat or just say hello. I won't bite. Well, if you have a question also, and if I said something wrong, correct me please, because it's normal. I'm also human, so I cannot know everything. I just want to explain what I discovered when I was playing with this little small synth, my smallest analog synthesizer here in this studio. But as you see, it's an analog synthesizer. Everything is analog. That's here also, it's analog. And to be honest, I had the Model D. It has something more than a Model D. I don't know why. It's stable also, and the knobs, everything, what you touch here, it's very nice made. That's metal. Great quality for this small synth. So for the price, 10 out of 10. Well done, Behringer. This one is well done. Will it stay work? I don't know how long, but we will see in the future, of course. So maybe some of you are changing their mind about another synth, and maybe are curious to buy this one. I was very curious, and to be honest, I'm not. I'm glad that I bought it so to discover this small little synth. And of course, I have another, and again, a Behringer in my studio. I think almost for a year, no Behringer synths, or more. I think more than a year that I didn't have a Behringer synth in my studio. So those were the features that I covered it up. So we're gonna create a sound, and then we are going to use that sequencer on that, and then I'm gonna explain for connecting the ways that you can connect with the sync. We're gonna start with sync, and then with your DAW, and from there on, so you can see how it works. And also bass sound, maybe, why not? Easy to make. This is with the, I can also go with the sawtooth. That's normal that a sawtooth will be always not so loud as a square wave. Of course, that's on all the synths like that. I'm gonna turn it a little bit louder on, and also give it some effect. So you can, what I'm gonna add a little bit of reverb, but that's a tiny bit, but also chorus. I love chorus on my basses and on my sounds, certainly on the analog sound. Okay, this is nice. I can also add a little bit of LFO, but at this moment, or I can also add in poly mode. You see, detune a little bit in unison mode, and you have that big sound. The noise, you can add some. But doesn't need to have that. That's the sound. Let's use now that sequencer. I have some different, those are the 10. Let's start one, and we'll that's the first one. Turn off the metronome. That's something that I don't like. That's that metronome. Always when you're changing the pattern, it will turn on. Maybe Behringer, if you like to turn it off, and if I want to use it, then I'm gonna turn it on. So that's maybe a point that I don't like about that metronome always turns on in one of those patterns. Doesn't need to do that. After that, I can change it. If I want to use that metronome from a clean pattern, then it's useful. But this, just to listen to that pattern, it's not the why, I don't know. Next pattern, let's play. Change. Also, it doesn't change because so it doesn't change when the metronome is playing. Because it's played in that note, in that range, you cannot change it. That's so if I want to change that, I must record it again, but in a lower note, in a lower range. So that's also something, but that's not a big problem. Can change it. Only just changing those. Another one. Same thing again. That metronome again out. Another one. Again that metronome. Another one. Again that metronome. Press function, then turn off metronome. Another one. Again that metronome, again off. So starting a metronome, stop that metronome. Now we're going to sync that with another device. So you have, now it's in the internal clock. We can choose to use this sync out. It will sync in, excuse me. It's connected with the Roland TR-08 with the trigger out. And if I go to the trigger out here, now what I'm going to do first is I'm going to change that on the synth tribe. And for that, I tried everything. I had some issues in the beginning, but I tried everything. And the best was here, that 2 PPQ, that clock rate. That's, for me, it worked best. Now it's in internal. Then I'm going to choose trigger. So now it will trigger in, will start that, and also control that sequencer now. And my TR-08 will also play with it. I'm going to turn that also off on so you can hear the drum, of course. TR-08 is here. I don't know how loud it will be for all those who just came in. Welcome to the live stream and also welcome to the channel. Feel free to like and subscribe, but certainly feel free to leave a comment in the chat. Or if you have a question, just ask. We don't bite. We have here some nice people who can also help because they are also has some experience with those synth. I think a little bit louder. That's better. So turn, and you see the light will light up with the trigger that I programmed on the synth here. Why is it disappeared? Normally it will. So, as you see, there is a problem here now. And I had that also before, but I know why. But now it's MIDI synced with this one. Okay, I found it. Turn that. It stopped. Gonna change that also. That mic. Better. Next cycle. That means. I know there is something wrong with the cable almost. Okay, that's better. Now, what do we have here? We have... So, next cycle, that means when I change the sequence, it will always go through that pattern, and in the beginning from the start, it will start a new pattern. That's most of the way to use it, I think. that's very important that you, if you do that here, so 1 0 1 0 or 1 1 1, that will work also. So every step, or so you have always that 16 or 8 or 4. But that's too short. And I can change that here. See, I can change it also. That's better that you do that like that. Otherwise it will. So you must know which one, 2 1 1 1 or 1 4. That's very important when I use this one now. So it won't work like that, but if I do now, that's now. So it must be always the same as on the, what I do on my drum computer. Must, the triggering is very important on this synth. So it, so it works it's synchronized. Otherwise, you can go also to function 1/4. Very slow. That depends which patch that you're using also. That's 1 1. Change that also if I want. That's one way to use it, but I have other ways also to use it. And now I sync to just with the drum. It can turn off. Strange it. So it's not always synced. So that's one of the ways to use it. But as you see, sometimes there are some issues, and I don't like to use it like that. How I use it normally is otherwise, but with the MIDI and the DAW, then it's better. I can use it like that, and I can also go from here to my do it as an example to my Modo 32 and use my Modo 32 sync out trigger. Here I can put it in the tempo in. So when I start this, it will start also with together, and it stops. So that's also a way to use it. I'm gonna turn that synth also on. So let's hear what it does. it will change also here because it goes out also the same signal comes out and it goes in. And it stops. So this is how you can use it without DAW, just connecting with other synths through sync in, sync out. Use my TR-08 as my master sync. And then goes to this. You can make my own pattern or choose one of those patterns that is existed here in this synth, and then go to the Model 32. Can choose also between those patterns, or I can create a pattern there, and from there on you can use it as one of those devices to make your own sound mix and modular synthesis. It's a small modulation here, model synth, but that's one of the ways. But you can also use your DAW. So I'm going to connect, open now my DAW. I'm going to use Fender Studio Pro. Connect now instead of the sync, the MIDI, and then instead of syncing this one through MIDI, I'm gonna sync this one here with MIDI, like that. The trigger in will not be useful now here, so I'm going to take it out, and the drum machine will trigger the other synth. So when it starts, it will start the other one also, and this one is synced now with MIDI instead of with the. Or I can also normally, if the sync is out, you cannot sync something else with it. That was, I think, the system. So let's try now out with MIDI. So it works perfectly with perfect. You must see what you're doing with your settings here, but it works and it's nice. But you can also sync it with MIDI, and I think it's much useful then. So you can program your sequencer and then change your sound with you. How do you like it? Of course. Let's try it now with DAW. Take the mic with me so I can explain what I'm doing here. Also, that thing with that cable here, and that's it's the connector. It's not the. It's the connector, not the cable. But that's that. I can fix that. I can show you how I fix it. You know, you use this here. Contact 61. This is a very nice product, but certainly now for this is not important. It's not so important, but when you're doing that, when you're doing that with your synths, turn those off. Certainly turn it off. There must be no power going through those. But oh, is it the cable? No, it's not a cable. It's here. normally it's not a Nutrich cable, and it's not a contact here, so it's not so high quality, this one here, nor otherwise it won't. I think it's almost. Normally stay. Okay, that's it. Will dry up and then normally it will be better. Hopefully, of course. Yes. Thank you. Now, what do we have here? So I'm gonna turn on my DAW here. So everything is here set. All right. So this will stay like that. Here is when I'm connected with the. I can connect it with a keyboard, so I can choose which modulation the mod wheel will have. So, but you can try that. It's easy, just changing that, and then your mod wheel will also change that modulation on your synth. Now, what we have here, Fender. I'm gonna finish. That's how to connect it with your DAW. So now I did it with the sync out there and sync in. Now we are going to do the MIDI in. That means it will send the clock to the synth. It will turn. I'm going to change first here, of course. I must change here something. Yes. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Today we have quite some visitors here. Didn't expect that, but nice to know there is lots of interest in this topic. But of course, always feel free to like and subscribe, and also feel free to leave a comment in the chat. Turn it off so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay. First, of course, I must set also my MIDI. Normally it's what I've here. I'm going to synth type. What you must change here is, of course, instead of trigger, you choose MIDI DIN. That's the setting that you must choose. When you're choosing MIDI DIN, then it will send now the clock and also the notes to your device through here. Channel 1 out, and inputs always like that. So what do we have here now? Everything is that's okay. Oh, I see that the synth is not quite in let's turn that camera so we can see what I'm doing. Because it's not. I thought it was better now. Much better. Must be careful with that webcam, because otherwise it will change everything. I'm gonna turn this cable here. Okay. Oh, same thing again. That's always with this. must change this cable, otherwise it will stay like. Otherwise it will. So what we have here, go to that DAW here, and now the synth is set to MIDI, and if I go to my MIDI settings here, and then I'm going to, this is the USB MIDI that you see here. So what I'm using now is the MIDI from my Model 32, and that's Model 32 Synth. It's this one here. So that's now sending to channel 1. So it will start normally also the synth. You hear it, it starts, it works. The drum computer doesn't work because it's not synced with this one here. So I must turn that also on. It's very stable when you're using it as when you're DAW. It's very stable. Certainly through MIDI. Let's start this one. Also change this one into sync with MIDI. Now it's synced with MIDI, so it will start same time when I start here. And it's much stable with MIDI. With the sync it works perfect, but with MIDI much better. And you have also your... So... And it's synced with my Model 32. So those two are working. Can change here. Change the patch. So with MIDI, it's perfect. It works perfect. With Sync, it works also nice and great. But there are sometimes that depends how your settings are. It can give you some strange thing. But if you set your drum computer, your sequencer that you're using, the trigger that the output trigger, if it's set right and it comes, it matches the setting here on your synth, it works perfect also. But the MIDI works perfect. It sends the code. It starts with the code perfect. It stops. Like I said, I can try to use the output here, but I don't think it will work. I don't think it will work. But we can try, and I think it will not start the drum, the Modo 32. So it won't even start the MIDI because I changed that here. So you see, it doesn't work if you choose sync, it's sync. If you choose MIDI, it's MIDI. What you can do also, can choose USB instead of MIDI. But then I'm going to come to that point where I think there is some work to do through that Behringer must solve that problem, because when you're using that USB, go out, no problem, or in, use out, so I can send things out and record it, no problem. But in and out through USB, it can give me it does do some issues with this synth. So there is a little bug, I think, that must be solved. I tried everything, but it won't work. What I know is I can use USB out without problem, no problem, and USB and MIDI in. You can do them the same, no problem. Then it works. So I can use my keyboard here, and I can play with USB in with my MIDI, and use this one as my output to record what I play here. So that can work, but sometimes it's not so easy. If I start it now, so you can see that it will work. Oh no, it doesn't work. It won't work now. Why? I don't know why. See, so that's the issue that I had with this synth when I just put this sync in and it put it out and it won't work now. So why? I don't know. That's something strange. I'm gonna change it and then maybe change again, and we'll try if it will work or not. As you see, it will not start up because I put that output and oh, excuse me. It's my fault. The MIDI cable was not put right into the synth. It will work now. Excuse me there. But there is an issue I can show you with USB, and we'll show you that in a minute. So MIDI works perfect. And let's try again with this one, because it's strange that it didn't want to work. Oh. First of all, it must send. Will it send the signal to the modulator? Let's try. It worked perfect. So you can do also the same thing as that. So the drum connected with the trigger out to your other device, MIDI, start this one here. And I can record, I think. This one also we will try. So you see, it works. It works perfect. And oh, I was touching that camera before it fell off. So it worked perfect. So you can use MIDI. You can go out, sync to another device. You can go out with your everything that it played. Can record it in MIDI if you want. But you can also start with USB. But then I have some issues to sync with my other MIDI devices. I can try that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this one, start also with MIDI, and then this one, it will be start with USB. And let's see what it does. But I had always some issues. Maybe it's solved now. I don't know. The only thing I want to try before I do that, because I have here my MIDI in, can I play with this keyboard through this synth? Let's try. So you can also the rate. The mod wheel, it worked perfectly. The pitch, it worked also perfectly. So everything works perfect. Go to poly. It works perfect. So you can use that through MIDI. I think also can use my USB for that, in and out, play that. So MIDI works perfect. Sync works also perfect. Even only when you do in and out can sometimes, depends on your sequencer that you're using, that comes into that sync, but it works. You can fix that with your settings. But then USB, of course, that's this next step where I'm going to take this off here, because it will go back to its synths. Sync out. I can do that, but I don't need to. So I have that MIDI. It can change. It will start with a MIDI. So I'm not using now the sync functions or the trigger function of either those devices. I'm going to set the synth in the middle. So, turn that. Like that. Okay, let's leave it like that. Always those, it's not fixed, so we cannot each time I touch this little small synthesizer, then it will goes out of screen, of course. Now, oh, I'm not going through MIDI, but I'm going to USB. That's what I'm doing. Or am I? Yes, I'm going through USB, excuse me. I was going through USB, but you can also go through MIDI. The thing you can do also, so I can play. That comes. So nice to have that here. Then MIDI goes there. So USB in, USB out, no problem. Can it sync also? And can it work with that USB? That was the issue that I had. So I hope it will work. And if it doesn't work, then it's, of course, that issue that I had also before. And then the other issue that I had was something about, it's not an issue, but programming this little synth, the sequencer, it's, I will let you see it so you can go to record, release or something. It's not so simple. And when you're going to the manual, it's translated in English, but also in my language. And it's not great, not a good transition of the manual. So please make a better manual for that. And also, let's see if that issue of that USB is still here in the synth, and maybe they can fix it. And also try to create a small sequence patch. See if I can erase it and create a patch, because I found it not so simple. That's the 2 points that I think were not so positive on this synth. But let's try it together so you can find it out for yourself if it's like that. But otherwise, I'm very happy that I bought this little fantastic sounding D Mini. Let's try the USB sync. Now you hear what I mean. So synced it with the MIDI, and then you get this. I don't know what it is. It's something wrong with this USB MIDI synchronization. I don't know what that sound. What you hear, that's not normal. So I'm gonna restart it and I'm gonna try to fix it. But it, like I said, it's strange. It's strange. It's not syncing. I don't know why. I change it here to 1/4, 1/1, and you get this. I'm gonna change now in. Gonna take this mic with me. I'm gonna do this cable. I'm gonna do the same thing here. It doesn't do nothing. USB. Change it also here again. But it's not sync. You see, it goes out of sync sometimes. So, what's the problem? I don't know. If someone knows, please let me know, because I don't know what the issue is. It will not sync properly with my DAW, there is something wrong with the. So what I have here in options also, when I go to the sync settings of this synth here, that's this one here. So send to the Mini, receive, it doesn't need to receive. I'm gonna choose those two only. So what it does, it's not synced. It doesn't work like. That's not. I'm gonna turn off the Mother 32, so you can hear only that synth. That's very, very strange. That starts well, but then I'm gonna change a patch, maybe. I'm gonna leave also that metronome on so you can hear it. Strange. It's very strange. Turn off that metronome. It doesn't feel like it's proper synchronized with the DAW. It's strange. Another one. And every time I change a patch, it will also go to that strange thing. And otherwise, it doesn't do that when I'm synced with the sync or with the. Certainly not with the MIDI. With the MIDI, it works perfect. So that's the only issue that I had with this synth. I cannot sync it with USB. And that's maybe also for some people who think I'm going to use it for traveling. Then you have only that USB, and then it's sync it with the DAW that you have with that USB. You can play and record, and then it will replay that, no problem. But that arpeggiator that it's on, to sync it with USB, it has some issues. Why, I don't know. So that's something they must fix it. Must go back to that setting here, and then. But you hear it's not. It's not properly synchronized with the DAW. So that's strange. So for someone who knows what the problem is, please let me know, because I tried everything to sync it with the USB, and I couldn't sync it. It can record with through USB. It can receive through USB. Everything works perfect through USB. Powered also. Finally, maybe that's the issue. I don't know why. But when I try to synchronize it, it won't work. So Behringer, please fix that issue with that USB synchronizing. The MIDI synchronizing worked perfect. The in and out sync works also. Only sometimes depends your setting. maybe that can also be a little bit better. MIDI works perfect. That's one perfect 100%. So, but you can use this for synchronizing your MIDI, and then your USB for your output, sending your notes out. So you can use it like that, but you must have that MIDI then. So why does it not work perfectly with that USB? That was my first issue that I had with this synth. And I think maybe it has to do with, because it's powered also through that USB. They can solve it. I hope so. And also the other issue, the other problem that I have, that I found not so easy on this synth, was how to program this synth. So I'm gonna change it again through instead of MIDI to internal clock, so I can use it on its own. Now you see it has flashes, so that means it's internal. Must fix that cable. I don't know if it's the cable or is it the connector that's not okay. I don't think it's a mic. The mic is perfectly, but one of those things here is not okay. So I'm gonna fix that after I finish this. That's the next thing that I'm gonna do, is fix this cable and see what the problem is. Let's see. We have now. Change that. The only thing that sometimes worked was when I changed also that beat, instead of from 53 to 200, change it from lower than and higher to 600. But then even then it was always. So I don't know what the issue is. But this one now it works. You see, another pattern. And also that metronome. Please turn that off, please. So that's a patch. Well, I think I tried that. So write is when I think it can write your movement. I don't know. That erase is erasing your notes, and active. So to record, must press, I think, function and then record. Oh, what's that? No, just record. So press record, and then you can play your, but you can also erase, so play and erase, I think. So I don't know why. To erase, I don't know how normally functions. So that means when I press here, it erases. Oh, so you must push every time when there is a note, you must push it. Now it's erased. So that's not so practical, I think. That's my opinion, of course. Now to record that, just press re-record, and I can play something, or I can turn it off, just record like that, play it like. Strange. Same thing, try to erase it. Strange. Now it's not erased. Oh, those are active. Okay, that's the length. That's okay. That, but the last one won't erase, right? Now it's gone. Strange. So it's not so easy to program. That's my opinion. If I play it now, there is one note here. See, otherwise, okay, I see. You must press always function, then the other button. Otherwise, not. Otherwise, so if you press first erase, then function, it won't work. Function, then erase. But it's strange. Then when you press function, and here you see what's active and what's not active. Again, to turn it off, function again. Then just here for recording. But the moment that I start, it will start also. So see. It's not musical the way that I use it here. So we're gonna do that again, erase. And then the last one stays always. Now it's gone. Strange. Now they are gone. You can try again, but active. Let's try once again. Active, that means. I'm gonna do that. Let's see what it does. Function out, so record. That's what it's not so musical, in my opinion. So will I go now to active, and I'm going to turn that on. And those off. What it will do. So it takes off all those others. Active, then turn those on. And now this. So it's a strange way to program a sequencer. It's not so hands-on. Too easy program something if you want to play. If I do that here, I just play what I want to hear, and it will play it, and then can also taking it step by step or something. Here it's strange, certainly when you want to erase it. If I want to erase it, function erase, but start function. So now it's erased. Strange. Always push, erase, erase, erase. So it's erased, and I don't know. Here is right, maybe something else. I don't know what does that mean. Strange thing. I cannot even all those active things must turn on, otherwise it will. Okay, that was what I played, but it's. I did in the first time something else, and it worked better. So I'm gonna retry to do that again. Erase. So must play when I erase a strange thing that I find. Very strange way to program a synth. Very strange. So not even close what I want to play. Again. Strange. So that's also an issue that the way to work with this synth, normally you set it in record, you play something and then play, and it will play your chord that you're playing in the length that you want. Choose your length, choose your. Here it's very strange. And if you go to that manual, it's also not so good. Translated in the language that you want to have that. Even in English, it's not so. It's okay, but it's not 100% right. So that's also something that I don't like about this synth. The way that you program the sequencer, it's not so easy. It's also strange. So that's then we have your memory. That's okay. This one is. The rest is normal. Only two issues. The big issue is that USB connection syncing with USB does not work. Certainly not on my DAW. I use it. I tried that on now it was on Studio Pro, but I did it also on Cubase. The same thing. It didn't want to work. So that was the first big issue. The second one is that programming of this sequencer that can be better than the way you must program this is. I love that step sequencer that you can, but when you touch that, it starts up. So can I change that maybe in the settings? I don't know. I cannot find something that will change that. So that's the first is that USB connection, sync USB connection. Then The second thing is that sequencer is not so easy to use. That was also an issue that I have. And the last, and that's maybe a small one, that metronome. Each time you change your patch, it turns on. Normally it must be turned off, and only will be turned on if I need it. That's metronome. I don't need to always turn that off. It won't do that when I synced it with it doesn't do that. That's okay. I'm going to try that once again. That's also the last thing that I'm going to do. And then I'm going to stop this live stream because I'm going to do that again once. Now I'm going to sync it with MIDI. That works perfect. Oh. Must be DIN MIDI, not USB MIDI. Now it will work. There is no sequencing. You see that metronome? Turn that off. Again, it turns on. So that's also an issue. So that was the three issues that I had on this synth. Was that metronome that always turned on when you're changing a pattern. Then the second one, the biggest one, is that USB sync doesn't sync. The rest worked perfect, in and out, no problem. Keyboard using also no problem. The sync works also, not so good as a MIDI inputs. That works the best. So you can use MIDI and that USB, but I don't have another USB here input, so I cannot use it with my USB. I must use it then with sync. That's the only thing. It works also, but not so good as the USB. I'm going to try that once. You can see it for yourself and hear it, of course. When you do that, you must, when you're using your sequencer, that you set your steps right, and also the settings here must be right. And then it works. Let's start. So it works. Now, trigger is normally on. Oh, that's not, this one is not playing. That's the other one. So trigger is out, trigger in, that's okay. it comes in. You see, it doesn't work perfectly. So I must turn one off here always, and then it will work. Now it works. I'm turning off the MIDI here. Normally I must turn off the MIDI here instead of. So this one is clean. So the only thing that works when I start that sequencer (116), I think it's, yes, 116 H 1A, and then here 1 and then it works, but it's not same as MIDI. MIDI works perfect. Another one. It's synced. So it can be synced, but you must always turn off this synth, otherwise it won't work. Turn it on when the drum is not started. The moment you start it, then it's synced. So you don't have that when you're using MIDI. It's always, so it comes always from the beginning. I think I can change that. Try multi-trigger, maybe it will work then. No, it stays always in the place where it stops, and then it goes on. And that's not the, normally it must always start from the beginning. Changing. Another one. Again. And then it works. So it's not so easy as the MIDI input. So another issue. So there are some issues on the synth, and I think they can be solved with some software updates, and it can be work perfectly with the synth, that synchronization. So my final conclusion on this little fantastic sounding model D Mini from Behringer is that it's a very, very nice sounding synth. Has a lot in lots of features, lots of things that you can do with this synth. So very capable to create nice sounds, and also, yeah, it's a good sound device to have that in your studio pocket. Of course, small, you can use it. Certainly, if you're looking for that sound, that's the perfect synth for you. Can it sync? Yeah, it can sync perfect with MIDI without any issues. It works perfect with that. With synchronization, you need always to start from zero with your synth, otherwise it will go out of that. It's not 100% okay, but it's better than the USB. The USB doesn't want to sync. Connection in and out, playing, modulation, everything works perfect. So, and the other issue is that metronome always goes on when you start a pattern. So please, is there an issue? Maybe I'm gonna read all that menu. Maybe there is something that you can turn off. Maybe there is a sub menu that you can trigger that metronome off when it starts, always when a new pattern starts. So that's was also for me a problem. So those are the problems, and I hope Behringer will fix that on a new update. Excuse me, another update, an upgrade maybe on this little synth, so they can fix those little issues. Then it can be a big, great sounding synth that everybody need to have in their studio, because it can add something very nice to the sound of your music. That's my final conclusion. So what I'm gonna do with this synth, am I gonna sell it, or I'm gonna leave it? No, I'm not going to sell it. Instead of that, I hope that Behringer will solve those problems, those sync problems, and also that metronome, I can turn it off. Certainly with USB, that sync in and out, can use it out, that works perfect with another synth, but the MIDI works perfect. But I don't have any MIDI here, so the only thing I can use is that sync at this moment, and that's was not supposed to be like that. So, but I can do otherwise. I can use MIDI from my Mother 32. Take it here, take that MIDI in, and goes from trigger out to the Mother 32, and that works perfect. So no problem with that. So that's all. So certainly recommend this synth, and I hope that Behringer will fix those small issues, because I think it's just software, it's just programming, and it can be, I hope so, and then it will be fixed. Next video or live stream will be a jam with this synth. Yes, first a jam, and then I'm going to the next video after that will be comparison with this and the Model 32 and a VST plugin, a free VST plugin from the Minimoog. We are going to compare those sounds and see if we can create the same patch on the three synths, and you can choose which one that you like, which one of those synths that you like. But that was it for today. For all those who came in, well, thank you very much. Also, thank you for the comments on in this live stream and on the chat. Thank you all. Take care, stay creative, and I will see you later. Goodbye.